Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing characters that inspire me. So these are all characters that I really admire for one reason or another, and their actions inspire me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this list, but before we go ahead and get on into it, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and sometimes other dates throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box for links to my social media, my Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways. The first character I'm going to be discussing is Guy Montag from Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is one of my favorite classic books of all time, if you did not know. And the reason that I like Guy Montag is because he is growing up in a world that tells him one thing, but he is not afraid to kind of listen to his conscience, to follow his intuition, and to go against the grain, because he realizes that something is wrong and that burning books is wrong, that is knowledge, and that there's got to be more to life than what is being fed to him through media and through what the government is saying. And he has the courage to step out and do what he's not supposed to in order to educate himself. And I just love following his journey as he becomes more courageous, as he grows as a character, as he realizes that one should educate themselves in order to understand what is going on in the world around them. The next would be Darryl from The Outsiders. This is Ponyboy and Soda Pop's oldest brother. And if you're not familiar with this story, we learn early on that these are three brothers and their parents died in an automobile accident. We learn early on that Darryl had a football scholarship to college and ended up forsaking all of that in order to take care of his two brothers. And if you really think about it, 20 is not really old at all, especially to be raising two children. Not children, but like teenagers. And I feel like that was just a very admirable act for Darry to do, a very selfless act to become a roofer instead of following his dreams to play football and go to school. And it just shows a lot of self-sacrifice. And I also really like Darryl because he really does have his brother's best interest at heart, especially Ponyboy because he's the youngest. And he is really hard on Ponyboy, but he does it almost like tough love. And I also like the fact that Darryl is able to recognize as the story progresses that he can be a better person. He can improve his relationship with his brothers, that how he has been doing things is not always right, and that he can show love in different ways that is more constructive to Ponyboy. And it's just a whole great book about brotherly relationships and growing as people, and another one of my favorite classics, and one that I feel can be applied to all ages, hence the reason that it's stood the test of time. So Darryl is definitely a character that I admire. And the next character is Bilbo Baggins. I feel like I've been talking a lot about The Hobbit recently, so if you guys don't know, I've read this book a lot. It's always at the forefront of my mind because I love the series so much. But I admire Bilbo for several reasons. First off, in the beginning of the book, we learn that one side of his family was very reserved and Hobbit-like, didn't like going on adventures, and then the other side of his family was the complete opposite, loved going on adventures. So we have Bilbo, who is constantly struggling with these two different identities before he decides which one he wants to, I guess, address or identify with. And I love that Bilbo shows that it's okay to step out of your comfort zone, because he definitely does that by joining the dwarves and going on this mission to the Lonely Mountain. And I absolutely adore Bilbo's wit, especially the interactions he had with Gollum and Smaug. Definitely some of my favorite scenes of the book. And then we have how Bilbo responds to being treated badly by Thorin and some of the dwarves. You know, Bilbo took that in stride. He showed them what his strengths were. He showed them what he was capable of doing and what he was able to contribute to the group. And he didn't let their bad treatment of him necessarily get him down. So another book that shows tremendous personal growth, and I just love Bilbo to death. The next character is Marmie from Little Women. This is the mother figure in this book who is raising the four daughters. I personally do not have children, but I love Marmie as a mother character for several reasons. First off, this book takes place when the Civil War in the United States was still going on, and then as it ends. And when we're first introduced to the March family, their father has been sent off to war. He is fighting. So the five women, excuse me. So the five women are living by themselves, and Marmie has kind of taken to running the household in her husband's absence. I just love Marmee because I think that she's so level headed. So you have a couple of the daughters that are all about society and frivolous things, and Marmee is constantly having to draw them back and tell them that materialistic things are not what's important. She is constantly trying to reestablish the importance of relationships between the girls and family, especially when they get into it with one another. And another thing I love is just the way that she is able to raise up and edify her daughters when they are dealing with struggles in life. I think that she is just a great source of strength and comfort for them, and definitely one of my favorite characters from the book. Next, we have Eleanor from Sense and Sensibility. The reason that I like Eleanor so much is that she doesn't wear her emotions on her sleeve. It's not that she doesn't feel emotions, she just doesn't let them affect her so much in an outwardly way, whereas her sister is like the complete opposite. And she's very selfless. So we know as the reader that Eleanor is going through a lot of inner turmoil, but she never lets her problems take precedence over the things that are happening with her family. She always puts their needs first. And I just found that really, really admirable in a character, just that complete act of selflessness, because I feel like it's really rare, for characters in books and also humans in real life. And I really enjoyed when her sister finally realizes that Eleanor has been so self-sacrificial and addresses that. It was just a great moment between the two sisters. So Eleanor, I first read Sense and Sensibility earlier this year, and I've always kind of ruminated over Eleanor as a character, and she's quickly risen to one of my favorite characters in like classic books or books in general. Next we have Yarvy from the Shattered Sea series by Joe Abercrombie. The reason that I like Yarvy is, number one, he is the son of a king and he was born with a deformed hand. Obviously, his father looks down on him for this, and he receives a lot of scorn because of it, because he can't fight, he can't hold a shield, he can't hold a sword, and that is things that are valued in this society. And Yarvy is determined to sharpen his mind, to learn as much as he can. If he can't physically do something, then he'll do something mentally. He's very, very strong in that regard. I also like Yarvy because he is able to recognize when he is not good at something. So at the beginning of the book, and this is not really a spoiler, but Yarvy is risen to king because his father is killed and something happens with his older brother. And Yarvy really, really recognizes that he doesn't want this power. This is not him. This is not where his, I guess, talents lie in leadership. He's good at other things. And I just find it very admirable when a character is able to recognize their faults and things that they're not good at and want to put their energies towards things that are more productive. And Yarvy definitely embodies that. And lastly, we have Addie LaRue from The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Addie is just such an awesome character and probably one of the best that I've read in a fantasy series in a really long time. But the reason I like Addie so much is that she is faced with such adversity. She is cursed in the year 1700 to live immortal and have no interaction with anybody that can remember her. She has to deal with that just extreme loneliness for hundreds of years. And not only that, but she uses that time constructively to figure out how to outdo the curse, to how to use the curse, not to her benefit, but how to get the most out of it. She is able to research and learn the loopholes of the curse in order to not live such a sequestered and depressing life. And I really like when characters kind of look for the silver lining of situations. They don't sit and kind of feel depressed about themselves and don't do anything, because Addie kind of took up the torch and ran. And I'm not going to say that happened immediately, because in the beginning of the book, Addie was trying to get a grip on what happened to her. There was a lot of bad stuff that she went through and happened to her, and it was really hard to read about, but she only used those situations to make her stronger. So Addie knew that no one was going to remember her. She knew that she was going to have no impression on the world, but she still tried to live each and every day to the fullest, regardless of that fact. And I just absolutely love that. Okay, you guys, so those are just some of the characters in books that I admire, that inspire me, because they're just awesome characters. Let me know down below some characters that inspire you, or maybe some characters that you really admire and why. And I will see y'all soon in another video. Goodbye.